what do they do? Well, they're being released from the pit lane now, I would imagine, pretty much exclusively on slick tyres. But if this rain really comes down any heavier, they're going to have a difficult decision to make.
Knock, knock, knock. Opportunity knocks. This is something that if I were any other driver than Callum Newsham, I would be rubbing my hands together thinking, okay, this is a leveller. This is an opportunity because, of course, you know, even circuit experts such as Callum Newsham, they can get it wrong. They can get, you know, in the slippery surface. I mean, okay, as you're looking at the circuit now, the track remains bone dry, although all it takes is for those little droplets of rain to turn a little bit more, you know, concerted. Yeah, the wind is picking up, which will help to dry the track a little bit more, I think, a little bit more quickly, as it were.
Well, and as quickly as it came, that rain has died away, if not gone completely. It's certainly not enough to make the track wet at the moment, but what it will do is take a little bit of temperature out of the tarmac. And remember, they're going to be starting on cold tyres. They will get this out lap to the grid. They'll get a further either 1 or 2 green flag laps. That was up for discussion this morning in the driver's briefing as to how many green flag laps they get. We've seen both used in the past, but not really enough time to get particularly the rear tyres up to temperature. That's what the issue is on a front-wheel drive touring car. The front wheels, because they're doing almost all of the work, they handle the power being applied to the car, the steering, the bulk of the braking done from the front. They heat up an awful lot quicker than the rears, which are sort of just along for the ride, and so it's getting those rear tyres up to temperature that's the challenge. A little sprinkle of rain is going to make that job even more difficult. So as if there wasn't enough to try and wrap our heads around ahead of this first race of the season, even more now for us and the teams to try and figure out. It is Callum Newsham though, who, as you said, starts on pole position. Max Hall alongside. Now Max Hall did the final couple of rounds of the championship last year, got 2 podium finishes actually at Snetterton in wet conditions. He'll be doing a bit of a rain dance as well, and a whole host of other drivers behind keen to get involved. Also getting involved down on the grid is Ian. He is, I believe, primed and poised and hopefully ready to chat to a few drivers.
Oh, would you look at this, everybody. What a way to start 2026 here at Brands Hatch with TCR. There is your pole position man, Callum Newsham, right there. We caught up with him a little bit earlier, so let's make our way down. We'll actually better get off the circuit and come down the side. It is Max Hall. He's just making his way to the grid as well. I wonder if we could, what if it's all right for us to just jump in and have a very quick chat with him. I'll just knock on the window. Is that all right? Yeah, I got a thumbs up from him. Let's go in. Max, how are we feeling today? Are we excited for this?
Oh, mate, born ready for this one.
Born ready, yes, that's what I like to do. Listen, it could be a little bit windy out there and a bit greasy, maybe.
Just more fun, isn't it?
More fun, yeah?
Yeah.
What can you do about Callum up there?
Well, it all depends on if I can get this thing off the line or not.
Okay, look, good luck. Thanks for talking to us, mate. Appreciate it. There we go. Let me get it out of everybody's way. There you go, bud. Let me leave that open. I want to go down a little bit further. I want to go chat to Brad Hutchinson up here as well. As we know, he's a fierce competitor. Let's see how he is feeling. It is absolutely beautiful here. We just had the hydraulic lifters going up there as well. He's just had a bit of a fist pump. I wonder if I can very quickly get a thumbs up. Here we go. Brad, good to see you, my friend. What can you do from here?
Say that again, sorry?
I say, it's good to see you, but what can you do from here?
Oh, we can win, I think.
Yeah, I know,
why not?
I know you, Brad. I know you can. Look, busy winter?
Yeah, try and get this car ready. This is our second session in the car.
Really?
So, yeah, it should be good. Should be fun.
Best of luck, mate. Yeah, thank you so much. I probably don't really want to talk to us as they've got to get themselves ready and go in. Here is Lewis Kent, a 2-time champion, of course. Look at this car as well. Absolutely beautiful, isn't it? How are we doing? Let's give him a let you go. Look very, very quickly. Lewis, 2-time champion, feeling confident? You must be.
Yeah, it's probably not where we wanted to be, but being the third day in the car, it's probably as good as we could have picked for. So, had a couple of little issues with the car, sort of had a bit of front end issues coming out the corners, but you know, we've tried to sort them for this race. We know that we're consistent. We know that a couple of the other boys are just sort of like one lap and that's it.
Yeah.
So, if we can keep doing the times we did in quali lap after lap, then shouldn't be a problem.
Listen, you know how to win this series, so best of luck out there as well. Car looks amazing as well, by the way. Top man indeed. Lewis Kent there, two-time champion for TCR. Let's just jump. In fact, I think we might have to get off the track very shortly. Not just yet. Let's just have a quick chat with Jensen Mason, my good friend. Jensen, how are you? It's very good to see you. This looks a little bit different from last year.
Yeah, I'm very good, thanks. Yeah, it's a bit of a steep learning curve, considering I only saw the car on Friday morning.
Really? Okay, so this is a real baptism of fire for you then. What can you do from here?
I don't really know, just stay out of trouble and yeah, have fun.
Better let you go anyway, mate. Good to see you, yeah? Enjoy it. We've been called off the circuit here because the TCR race is about to get underway, the first in 2026. Oh, it looks magnificent, doesn't it? Let's hand over to your commentary team. I'll tell you what, great to hear Andy McEwen and Henry Burdett. Boys, take it away.
It's great to be here, Ian. A lot of excitement, a lot of talk, a lot of speculation. No one knows who the pre-season favourite is in TCR UK this year. And that is magnificent news, because it means we're in for a proper treat. We've got drivers, we've just heard from Lewis Kent, well out of position on the grid, but who perhaps are scratching their head as to how they're going to get to the front of the grid. It's going to be a fascinating 20 minutes of racing to see who can get there. Callum Newsham, runner-up in the championship last year, is on pole position, looking for career win number 12 if he can stay there till the end of the race. Max Hall starts alongside him in his Honda, the first of a whole host of these new Honda Civic Type R FL5s on the grid. In fact, it's an all Honda Civic FL5 Row 2 with Jensen O'Neill going in his first full season in the championship, inheriting third place after Max Hart, who qualified third, had his fastest lap taken away from him even after a turbo issue led to his car stopping on track in qualifying, and that resulted in a red flag. Double champion Carl Bordley and another of those rapid Civics, 4 of them in the top 5 positions on the grid. He starts 5th there alongside Brad Hutchison, whose shiny new Cupra Leon VZ took a trip through the gravel trap at Paddock Hill Bend in qualifying. Rod McGovern and Lewis Kent are next. Lewis at his home track, another driver looking for a third title as he makes his return to the championship. Joint winningest driver in TCR UK history is Lewis Kent. Jensen Mason and Harry Blore together on row number 5. They complete the top 10 of the 17 car grid. Row number 6 for Jack Constable, himself a 6-time race winner in TCR UK, all the way down in 11th on the grid in his Audi. Rick Kerry alongside him, former British touring car racer. Then it's Russell Joyce and Luke Allen in the VW Golf. The only Gen 1 car on the grid is the Golf. Barry John McHenry is next. He should move forward in his Audi with Mark Smith's Cupra for company, sporting a new Battleship Grey livery on that car this year. And at the back is Jeff Alden, not in a Vauxhall Astra as anticipated, but instead in a Hyundai i30N, which was as a result of engine issues in testing, a last-minute decision to change cars. They are being given a second green flag lap, so we've got another minute or two before the race gets underway. Time to get some thoughts from Henry Burdett then. It's a dangerous question to ask this, and I realise I'm throwing you slightly under the bus here. Who's your money on for the win?
Well, obviously you can't look much further than Callum Newsham. However, those globules of moisture on the camera lens there certainly says that he's not going to have it all his own way. But think of this. This is the 113th race in TCR UK history. Brands Hatch Indy was the 3rd venue that this championship ever visited back in 2018. And who was on the podium that day back in 2018?
Remind me.
Lewis Kent.
Really?
Who finished on the podium in his last race here at the Civic Cup last year. In fact, he won the season finale of the Civic Cup here last year. Lewis Kent, who was walking around the pit lane this morning with his young child and his wonderful partner, looking just the happiest, most contented, relaxed driver you could imagine on a race morning. Lewis Kent. Now, I'm not going to say he's going to win this one, but you cannot look beyond that very smart silver and blue number 38 Link going through your screen now?
Yes, certainly for race 2. Reverse grid, remember, for race 2. I think he might have that in the back of his mind. If
Did I successfully avoid answering your question there about who I thought
Very
was gonna
successfully,
win?
yeah.
Well, there we go,
You
like
said
a-
nothing of the sort.
No, exactly, like a true politician.
No, but the trouble is, we've been saying all weekend, we can't predict it. It was wrong of me to ask you to make a prediction,
Oh, no,
really.
no, not at all.
But we're looking forward to seeing what happens. Max Hall, I will say, he's going to be up for this. He
Yes.
knows that he needs to get past Callum Newsham at the start
Yes.
if he's to have any chance realistically of beating him. I think if you leave Callum Newsham in clean air for too long, he's going to be
Yes.
difficult to catch and pass. And it is notoriously difficult to start from pole position here at Brands Hatch in a front-wheel drive car. The camber of the road drags you down towards the pit wall, so keep an eye on the cars on the outside of the front. Max Hall and Max Hart, teammates in their Hondas, to try and make some forward progress. The stage is set then for the 2026 TCR UK Championship. It all begins where it finished in November last year on the Brands Hatch Indy circuit, in only slightly better conditions than we had in November. Place your bets, everyone. Who wins the race and who wins the championship at the end of the year? Callum Newsham hoping that the answer to both of those questions is his name. He's on pole, the revs start to rise. Hyundai versus Honda on the front row of the grid as the 2026 season gets underway now. Brad Hutchison went very, very early indeed, and Carl Wardley is collected by Lewis Kent. Max Hall, I beg your pardon, collected by Lewis Kent. Disaster for the double reigning champion, and Lewis Kent is out on the spot.
Call that the curse of the commentator. Up towards Paddock Hill Bend we go, up towards Druids Hairpin rather, out of Paddock Hill Bend. And yes, already they are slowing them down. This is going to be a full course caution, and or if not a red flag, well, they certainly yellow flags are out. I could see the safety car
Red.
at red flags. Oh, and what a disappointment for both Max Hall and Lewis Kent. You just saw Hall just struggling to get going. Do you know something? He was slow to get away from the grid onto the rolling lap, and I just wonder if there was an underlying issue that reared its ugly head again. Let's have a look back, Andy. Oh dear.
Yeah, keep an eye on the yellow and blue Honda. Hutchison caught my eye. He went early, and then Max Hall went and then stopped, and Lewis Kent just get pinched 3 wide. Rob McGovern came storming up the middle of everyone, and unfortunately Lewis just had nowhere to go. I think he'd seen Max Hall's car slowing, but thought that he had somewhere to go, and that door very quickly closed.
That jump start by Brad Hutchinson could just have saved his weekend, because if he hadn't have jumped the start, he would have been right where that number 38 came. And you could see McGovern going at the inside. You had Hall slowly getting started, but then 3 cars, and Lewis Kent had nowhere to go, just pile driving into the back of Max Hall's car. Now the cars are coming back to the pit lane. I haven't seen Max Hall's car is stationary on the outside there. Well, number 1, there's Lewis Kent, A-OK, looking somewhat disgruntled, a shrug of the shoulders. What could he do? He's going to have a little remonstration possibly, but well, all that build up and can't breathe. We're going to have to do it all again.
I'm absolutely heartbroken for Lewis Kent and Max Hall, to be fair. I was bigging him up on the front row, but you're right, that car just, I don't know whether he's got a clutch issue maybe, because he just, as you said, he went and then it just almost like it wouldn't get out of first gear. There is the Honda, the rear end of a Honda, seemingly quite a bit stronger than the front end of a Lincoln Co, because that car's not come out too second hand. He's examining the damage now.
Yeah, well, that rear end of a Honda's got half a Lincoln Co front end stuck into it.
Good point, yes. Max Hall trudges away, but just one of those really unfortunate incidents. I said that it is difficult to get a car off the line here, even on the outside of the front row, and it's a very narrow circuit as well, so it's not unheard of for us to have these start line incidents. So the field then have been brought, the majority of them anyway, down into the pit lane, and we will in good time get a full race restart over a shortened distance, I'm sure, but we will get them lined back up on the grid for a restart. And obviously we've documented a couple of the losers there, a couple of winners, and I do think Brad Hutchison's one of them. Not only did, we're saying he jumped the start, it looked an awful lot like he jumped the start.
Anticipated it very well.
Very well indeed. Not only did that get him out of harm's way potentially with Max Hall's car slowing, but if it was a jump, well, that never happened now.
No.
And he gets to have another go at getting the car off the line, hopefully just as quickly, but legally.
Yes, and if there is any good news for Maximus Hall and Lewis Kent, it means this is the only TCR UK race of today. And it is only middle of the afternoon, so they do have time on their hands. Now, of course, spare parts notwithstanding, but it's not a complete weekend catastrophe, game over situation at the moment, although hands on hips and desultory, yes, well, of course, you have to go through the medical procedure there. You're just getting checked up. Yeah, I know what day it is. Yeah, I know it's Easter. Yeah, I know that's expensive. Next question, please. You know, that's probably the nature of Lewis Kent's conversation. Maximus Hall having, I would imagine, a similar conversation with a different group of medical staff, just a little bit further up towards Paddock Hill Bend.
Yeah, and interestingly, the medical crew's checking his helmet as well to make sure that didn't get damaged. If you bang that against the roll bar, that can damage the helmet. That's then obviously a significant issue moving forward.
With Lewis Kent, that's not so much of an issue. You're checking for brain damage. It's not. I've known him for a long time. He's okay. He's okay.
He seemed perfectly fine, but the medical crews have to check him out, of course, and he will already be thinking, as you said, ahead to race number 2 tomorrow, and counting the cost and trying to figure out exactly what's damaged. The whole right front corner of the car took the brunt of the impact. Suspension, steering arm, that can all be changed. If the chassis has been damaged, that's when things start getting a lot more complicated, so he'll be hoping against hope that is not the case.
Yeah, and it's the right front corner. Now, SVG Motorsport, I'm sure they will have plenty of stuff there to fix parts and things like that. If that left front corner has been shoved back a little bit, then we have issues.
Indeed so. Right, I think I heard in my ear just then.
I thought I heard that as well.
That Ian has surfaced somewhere in the pit lane and can potentially go and get the thoughts of some of the drivers. All of them apart from Carl Boardley and Brad Hutchison are there, Ian. So see who you can find.
Well, we are here with Daryl from DTR, the owner, the founder of a brand new team as well, racing in TCR this season. How did this come about, Daryl?
Obviously, having come in from the touring cars, been in there 8 years now as a mechanic, the opportunity come about to sort of bring the Honda back to the UK.
Oh, yes.
I was with Restart doing the Honda before. Couldn't really turn the opportunity down. I was offered the cars.
Yeah.
So here we are.
And you're running Harry Blore and...
Harry Blore, Carl Boardley, he's running under us as well.
Carl must be quite a help, isn't he? He's a 2-time champion at TCR. Have you been able to use his experience a little bit?
Yeah, Carl's data has been crucial for us because it's an experienced pair of hands. We've got a rookie in one car and then obviously Carl in the other. Carl's very good with the chassis stuff, so he can help bring the car along.
Yeah.
It just helps speed up the process of getting it where it needs to be.
So let's go to the very beginning. How long did it take to set DTR up? When the idea came, are we talking this was an idea from 2 years ago? Or was it 6 months ago or 2 months ago?
So DTR has been going sort of in the background for the last couple of years, but it's mainly been like performance roadcar stuff. And then the end of last season, it was like, should we do a race team? And
nice.
Here we are. Yeah, it's all over the winter.
Quite a proud moment then for you today.
Yeah, quite a proud moment because it's getting everything in a row. From normally working on the car, being number one, to running the team.
So you're the big boss now. Everybody answers to you, right?
Yeah.
How are you finding that?
There's a big boss in the background, but yeah, everyone answers to me. But no, it's great. I love it.
Daryl, thank you for giving up your time. I really appreciate it. We're still under red flag conditions. Best of luck as well. We'll be keeping an eye. I spoke to Carl a little bit earlier as well, so that's great. Stay with us a little bit longer if you like. As you can see, the drivers are all here. Is Harry Blore there now? So we are still waiting to get going again. I wonder if we can speak to Harry Blore. I wonder if we're allowed to pop in. I don't know what the rules are actually, whether we're allowed to have a go. Look, it's Dave Farrow, everyone. It's Dave Farrow. Dave, don't disappear. Don't disappear, because I was out in Brickcar the other week as well. It's great to see you. Good. Who are you looking after?
I'm looking after Rick Kerry again this year again.
Okay.
So
okay.
yeah, he's doing well. He's in Callum Newsham's old Hyundai, so it's just a little bit of a learning curve getting into it, but he's doing a fantastic job. So testing, he's doing fantastic. Just jumping into another chassis again, so he's doing well.
Quite the challenge, isn't
Always.
it? And for you as well, what's it like on the sidelines of it today? Is it quite difficult? Do you want to be out there?
I always want to be out there, you know that. But I enjoy working with Rick and everybody else. You know, coaching Rick's great. I do a lot of work with him, so engineering his car, coaching him as well.
Super stuff.
So fantastic, yeah.
Mind if I have a quick chat with Rick? Is that all right? I see you there, Rick. Rick, you all right? Sorry to interrupt you, but you're not going anywhere right now.
No, not at the minute. No, not at the minute.
What's it like working with Dave?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, Dave's good. I'm fairly new in the car.
Yeah.
Not only done sort of the Brands Hatch range last time.
Yeah.
So we've been looking at the data, and he tells you where I've gone wrong. So there's more in the car and there's more in me. So just got to try and get there.
Well, at least you managed to avoid the carnage at the start there, but eager to get going.
I think we always expected there to be a bit of carnage at the front. I was quite pleased that I wasn't sort of too close to it. So I've been about for a while, so I try my best to avoid it if I can.
You said that, not me. Best of luck out there. Yeah, take care. Good stuff. Let's keep going down a little bit. Oh, it's very fortunate. All the drivers have got their windows open. They must know that I want to come and talk to them all. And hello. Who do we have here? It's Jack Constable. Jack, how are we? Are we a few butterflies, or are we ready to get going now?
We're all right.
Yeah.
Just steady away. Hopefully not have any more of that nastiness.
Yeah. Look, tell me about your motorsport journey. Where did it begin, and did you go down a karting route? Tell us the things you've been up to.
Yeah, so I started in karts 11, kind of built my way up through that, and then into cars, did a couple of championships in the car stuff, and then a bit of touring car racing ever since.
This is quite special, isn't it, TCR? Tell us what attracted you to it.
Well, I raced it for a good number of years with Power Max in some Cupras and different bits and pieces, and then just absolutely loved having the. Sorry,
he's on the radio.
Yeah, got two things going on at once. Just absolutely love the way the cars drive, love the front wheel drive feel, and being in a natural born tin top is just amazing.
Yeah. Forgive my ignorance here, but on your helmet it says 10th of the 5th, 25. Why is that date significant?
It's my wedding date, so I got married last year.
Congratulations.
It's something that I'll never forget because it's sprayed on a helmet.
I assume my invite got lost in the post then, did it?
Yeah, probably.
Cheers, Jack. Best of luck, mate. It's great to see you, my friend. Right, let's have a little. I wonder if we can sneak ourselves up onto the track a little bit. Actually, sorry, Tom, I'm just running around a little bit. There's a few people up here. I don't see any reason why we can't move on. Is that okay if we just pop up here for a second? We've got Carl Boardley up here as well. Maybe we can have a quick chat with Carl. Oh yeah, there you go. Are you okay to talk for a second? Got a bit of a wild start there.
A little bit wild. I've been in wilder, so it weren't too bad.
So you know what you're doing, don't you?
Yeah, we know what we're doing. It was quite lucky at the start. I see Max has got a problem. My clutch was binding on and stuff, so I had to literally just bomb the start and crack on. So I got passed by a couple anyway. So yeah, it was just a case of trying to keep to the right and give people a bit of space. Obviously, a couple of cars with a load of damage, which ain't great, but it is what it is.
It's a real shame, isn't it? But it is motorsport. I'll let you crack on anyway. Thanks for talking to us, Carl. Really appreciate it. There you go. Good stuff. The cars are making their way out of the pit lane. As you can see, Carl Boardley is just firing up his right now as well. So we're not far away from going racing again. We better get off the track. Let's go back to our commentators, Andy McEwen and Henry Burdett.
Thank you, Ian. Yes, so here's another replay. Keep an eye on the car fourth on the outside lane. That is Lewis Kent. Ignore the potentially jump-starting Cooper ahead. Kent gets a good start. Boardley was slow away, and that's what led to the pinch. McGovern had to jink to the left of Boardley, and Kent was trying to go right to avoid the slow-starting Honda of Max Hall. So a sequence of events that could never have been foreseen that unfortunately led to Lewis Kent and Max Hall's cars meeting in the middle rather, and both sustaining big damage damage. As we said, both drivers were out of the cars, they were absolutely fine, but the cars rather worse for wear. I can see out of the commentary box window they've both already been delivered back to their teams down in the pit lane area. So the teams will go to work with Halls Racing looking after the Honda, and SVG Motorsport has documented the Lincoln Co. There are Audi dramas though, are there? This car has not got going from the fast lane in the pits. This is Jensen Mason, isn't it? Yes, Jensen Mason's Audi with the bonnet up, and they were looking internally, bonnet down, but car going nowhere. This car maybe won't fire back up again, and this is always the danger. You put a heat cycle through everything, warm the engine up, then you sit it in the pit lane for a while, it all cools down, and it doesn't always want to get going again, so that car will need maybe a bump start to get the restart. Cars, by the way, will be brought around onto the grid, will do this start procedure again, basically, that we did before, so they will get, I'm guessing, 2 more green flag laps again, or at least 1, and then be released out into the race. Haven't yet had any notification of a race time. It still says 20 minutes on the timing screen. We'll see if that changes.
Now, he seems to be able to get it fired. Maybe she won't go into gear.
There we go.
A bit of elbow grease, and yes, off they go. And it just goes to show that no matter how simple they try to make the platform of the vehicle, these things are very technical, finicky pieces of kit.
That is a drama I've just spotted. You can see it on the left-hand side of the screen. Callum Newsham's car is back in the pit lane.
Oh dear.
The pole-sitting Elantra, is it being pushed back into the garage? It is. So Callum Newsham's car that was supposed to be starting from pole, dominated in qualifying, is being pushed back into the garage. That is a major, major drama. Ian, I can see, is sprinting, well, was sprinting down the pit lane. He's making his way
swiftly, yes.
He'll get there anyway. But we really do need an answer on that, because that is major drama. And it means now that Jensen O'Neill going is your net pole sitter. We'll get more on that in a moment. Ian is down there. Let's see if he's got any news for us.
Yeah, a bit of a worry here. Callum Newsham, the man on pole position, and he's come into the pits. It looks like it might be terminal. Probably doesn't want to speak to me, but Callum, very quickly, what's the issue?
Clutch.
Clutch. Oh, sorry to hear that, mate. I really am. Look, hopefully we'll be seeing you tomorrow, yeah?
Yeah, I hope so.
Top man, thanks for telling us. There you go, clutch. Callum Newsham, the man on pole position, out of the race. Clutch issue. Andy and Henry, back to you, my friends.
I'm glad he said clutch, because when you know what I thought, has he dropped a swear? But no, it clutch. Again, it's procedure. It's a repeated procedure. You're putting a lot of strain and stress on the clutch, and of course then you have to go around and do it again, because of course the drivers have left the pit lane. They've stopped here on the grid. Then they've left the grid for their rolling lap. Then they've come back to the grid. Then they've had that one race start. It's just, yeah, there's an awful lot of pressure on that. But I was standing on the exit of Graham Hill Bend during qualifying this morning. Jensen O'Neill going had the mother and father of all tank slappers coming into Graham Hill Bend and thus coming out of Graham Hill Bend, and somehow saved it. How significant is that? Because if he hadn't have saved it and gone off, well then he could have damaged the car. If he'd have gone off and stopped, that would have been a red flag, which meant the lap that put him where he is now wouldn't have counted. And due to a chain of completely unrelated freak occurrences, that save this morning realises that he now sits, okay, 2 rows back, but with a clean track in front of him for the start of, now that's not going to go out, is it? No. I do you know what? I thought they're just manoeuvring it back into pit lane, into the garage.
Yes, there's the Lincoln Co. shaped hole in the back of the Honda. That will need some immediate attention, and that will have done damage to the exhaust system and potentially knocked the tracking out at the back of the car, so that's going to be a late night for them as well. Max Hall, sadly, will take no further part in this race. The one good thing about all of this, yes, they're dropping like white flies a little bit, but because of the strength in depth we've got in TCR UK, we're not short of potential race winners here. Jensen O'Neill Going and Max Hart are now essentially the front row of the grid. They're actually the second row of the grid, but there's no one in front of them. Jensen O'Neill Going got a demon start the first time around, didn't really get a chance to document it with everything going on behind, but Jensen O'Neill Going, in only his 5th ever TCR UK race, is now sitting at the very front of the grid with a TCR Europe podium finisher alongside him in Max Hart. I mean, talk about in at the deep end.
I'm very, very, very hesitant based on my previous comments on how well Lewis Kent was going to do.
Who are you throwing under the bus next, Henry?
Well, I mean, would you say that it's probably going to see Jensen O'Neill Going beat his previous best TCR UK finish of 12th in this race? He says, nervously, looking and making sure that, there's the clutch is going to explode on that car when they get the green flag to start their rolling lap. Okay, breathe. Everyone's left the grid so far, or have they? No, they haven't. Another
Jensen
problem.
Mason.
And that is the Now, we surprised? No, that I think, if that clutch isn't going to work, then I would get that car off the grid.
Yeah.
Get it into the pit lane, push starting for the pit lane. Let's not leave that car, which is obviously hobbled, which obviously doesn't like those starts. The clutch has said, no. And yeah, that would be a good thing. Get the Audi in the pit lane so that there's not a repeat of what we saw before. Oh, but it's so devastating for one of our 3 newcomers to the championship. And of course, the marshals have just realised, oh yeah, the run up to Paddock Hill Bend, it isn't up, isn't it? It's quite a steep up. And come on. The Orange Army, ladies and gentlemen, the most important people in all of motorsport. This is how many miles does it take to push an Audi? Well, the answer is 5. That's more like it. 6? I cannot. British marshals are the best in the world, and yes, 1 or 2 of them have got their steps in today.
Most definitely, yes. I've complained that I've had to walk backwards and forwards from the commentary box twice today. That is nothing compared to the hard work that the Orange Army have to do, and we really must extend our thanks to them. As always, we try to, because we wouldn't be here without them. So big thank you. I was worried for a second that was going to lead to a delayed start, because they've only actually given them 1 green flag lap this time around. So they're already making their way back onto the grid for the start. It is still, by the looks of it, a full 20-minute race. We've had no time taken away on the timing screen. So 20 minutes of racing. The sun is shining again now at Brands Hatch. The rain, touch wood, has gone, although there's an ominous looking dark cloud in the distance. Who knows? I've given up making predictions now already. What we've had of this race has caught me by surprise. Let's hope this time we can get underway and put on a show for you all. Jensen O'Neill Going on pole, Max Hart alongside, double former champion Carl Boardley starts 3rd, then it's Brad Hutchison, and then Rod McGovern. Remember how quick he was off the line the first time? Those VZ Cupras, definitely worth watching. Take 2 of round 1 of TCR UK for 2026 then. We're missing a few, but we've got plenty of star drivers ready to go to battle on the Brands Hatch Indy circuit as we attempt to get the race underway for a second time. We should have had the green flag at the back of the grid, and all eyes turn to the lighting gantry. Rev start to rise then. Round 1 gets underway. Now away we go, and the pole sitter goes nowhere. There is contact. Hutchison into the side of Boardley, and thank goodness everyone avoided Jensen O'Neill Going, who that time fluffed the start completely, and he is mid-pack into Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. It is Max Hart that leads. It's Hutchison second. He's in the dirt though. He was in the dirt at Paddock in qualifying. Jack Constable to the inside in the Audi. He will go second as Boardley roughs up the Cooper of Hutchison at Druid. What a topsy-turvy start to this race it's been. It is Hart who leads, Constable second, McGovern third, Hutchison versus Boardley for 4th, and it's Boardley who gets elbowed wide on the curb but keeps on coming.
Heart in your mouth stuff from the word go. no start. But Jensen O'Neill going. He's there now, back in about 6th position. Hutchinson and Borley. Well, Hutchinson almost lost it on the outside of Paddock Hill Bend as they come through Clearways, through Clark. Now on to the start-finish straight. Hutchinson on the outside, Borley on the inside. This is for 4th position. What a start from Govern, and what a start from Constable as well.
Oh, Baldy and Hutchison have been side by side for a whole lap, and still they're debating the position into Druid, with Hutchison on the outside. Jensen O'Neill going is the grey and pink car behind them, and he's going to really have his dander up after that bad start, wanting to regain the lost ground. Inside line there for Hutchison, finally gets the job done on Bordley, who immediately switches back to the inside line. O'Neill going is in there too. This all over, as you said, 4th position, and Jensen O'Neill going is going around the outside of a double champion. What a move from Jensen O'Neill going, and through he goes. That was such brave driving. I really shouldn't be surprised, having been commentating on Jensen for pretty much every year of his very short career so far, but he is a star of the future, a star of the now perhaps in TCR UK. What a confident bit of driving that was.
Fearless, absolutely fearless, not looking at reputation, not looking at the amount of silverware any of his rivals have collected in their careers next compared to him. And of course, we've hardly mentioned the fact that Max Hart leads this race by 1.5 seconds. Lap number 2 is in the books, and Hart up the road, Constable second, McGovern there in that yellow and green livery machine, Hutchinson and O'Neill going, Bordley down to 6th. Well, Brad Hutchinson, he's had some heart in his mouth moments as well.
And he's about to have another, because he's got Jensen O'Neill going behind him, and Jensen O'Neill going in the first sector was 3/10 quicker than the leader. In the first sector, that's a 29-second sector, and he's 3/10 quicker than the leader. Jensen O'Neill going is on an absolute charge. There goes Hart in the lead, Constable second, McGovern third, by the way. Ron McGovern aiming to beat his previous best finish in the championship of, I believe it was a 5th place that he had, at Donington last year. And he is, perhaps on course for a first podium. Then it's Hutchison, then O'Neill going, who swipes the bollards away on the inside of Graham Hill Bend. He was doing that in qualifying too, with Bordley 6th and Harry Bloor keeping on their tail in the red and white Honda at the back of the group. But Hart with a 1.7 second lead, and he needs to try and grow that if he can. With smoke in the background, that's from Bordley's car. Carl Bordley's car smoking heavily, and the Hondas, looks almost identical to the turbo issue that befell Max Hart in an identical car in qualifying, and Carl Bordley is out.
He, along with, it looks, is it a right front tyre rub? I'm hoping, he's hoping, we're all hoping that is a right front tyre rubbing against the bodywork. Now, I can't imagine where that contact would have come from, although he was battling tooth and nail with, is that a puncture, is that a slow puncture? Oh, it's hard to see from this angle. The smoke has stopped as we cross the line, and he's got to get out of the way, has Carl Bordley. Now, judging by the fact that he's trying to bring it back to the pit lane, I would say that he thinks that's tyre, not engine exposing oil.
No, I don't know. It just looks identical to the turbo issue that Max Hart had this morning, but it could be a tyre. He's heading to the pit lane, so we'll hopefully get a camera on it in a moment.
I'm an optimist.
Yes. No, I'll take that. I'll take a bit of optimism at the moment. Jack Constable could do with some as well, because Ron McGovern is all over him. Jack Constable, 6 times a TCR UK race winner, on his return to the championship in the Audi that carried him to pretty much all of those wins, and he is now under serious threat from McGovern, from Hutchison, and from Jensen O'Neill going. This is a 4-way battle for second.
I will say this, Ron McGovern, he has been given over the off-season a huge jolt of performance. Thank you very much, here all week. But it does go to show, what a superb performance. He comes in fighting from the off-season and almost looks like a new driver, does Ron McGovern. As we look further back, that'll be Rick Kerry, and following Rick Kerry, is that the number 8? Well, no, it's not the number 8 car, that's that Ford Focus.
That is
Looks
the Golf, isn't it? Of
Golf.
Alan,
Do
the Gen 1
apologise.
Golf with that is Jeff Oldham that he's trying to get past.
Yes, sorry, the Ford Focus. What am I talking
Yes.
about? It's the Hyundai i30 that's got a Ford Focus-ish looking shape to the front of it. But yeah, Jeff Alden. No wonder it was. He just literally picked up that car due to issues with, like you said, with his Gen 1 Opel Astra. Dear me, and Jensen O'Neill is going for a position on the podium potentially. He's got Hutchinson in front of him now. P5, there's McGovern, and there's Constable, second, third and fourth. Very nicely poised, Andy.
And Harry Bloor, I'd say, is catching them slightly as well. Ron McGovern did hold the fastest lap of the race until Max Hart came across the line that time by with a 48.6, a new fastest lap of the race. His lead margin then is now 1.9 seconds over this Audi, Cupra and Honda battle that's going on behind for the lower podium places. They head down behind the pit and paddock area. I will say the attention on the Carl Wardley car, I've been watching this out of the window, he's on that right front corner. They've had the wheel off and put it back on, so I wonder if it is, if not a tyre, maybe a suspension issue of some sort in the right front corner of the Civic. We'll again try and get some clarification of that if we can, as our second place battle blasts past the pits, and it is an increased margin to Max Hart, the leader, over 2 seconds now, but second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth still very much up for debate.
Jensen O'Neill he seems to have calmed down a little bit. He's still as quick. We're having less ragged moments as he sets his sights on Brad Hutchison. Now, of course, racing and being at the same speed as the championship regulars, the championship veterans, the race winners is one thing. Overtaking them in race conditions on a circuit with very limited opportunities, you know, it's all go. There's no room to rest here at the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. That's a different kettle of fish altogether, and that is something that Jensen O'Neill is going to have to learn, as you just see in the background, Bordley returning to the circuit, and McGovern about to give Jack Constable all he can handle. Up Halewood Hill they go towards Druids.
Yeah, this is game on, isn't it? Constable doesn't look like he's quite as strong as McGovern at this point, and McGovern needs to get a move on because he's got Hutchison and O'Neill going and Harry Bloor right behind him. This is a fantastic battle, reminiscent almost of that five-way battle for the win we had in the pickup trucks a little bit earlier on today. This has a very similar feel to it, and Jack Constable looks to be a little bit the cork in the bottle right now. Through Surtees they head, and there is O'Neill going, just keeping a watching brief from fifth position for the time being, as these five cars, clearly very evenly matched, head out onto the main straight once again. 10 laps in the book, we tick towards half race distance, still plenty of time for things to change here. And I tell you what, if McGovern could get past Constable quickly, he might have ideas of bridging that gap to Max Hart, because until he really started getting held up by the Audi, he was lapping just as quickly as the leader.
Well, I mean, you can still see the leader. That visualisation will always help a driver. Now, he's got a good run coming out of Druids, down towards Graham Hill Bend, up Cooper Straight. We're going to go into Surtees, McLarens and Clearways now, and it does seem as though we can get the car turned in a lot sooner, can Ron McGovern. That front end looks a lot more pointed. He gets a nice turn in, he gets a narrower apex, lets the car run off the circuit, run off the exit of the corner. Bordley is continuing to go around with smoke billowing, so something in the right front assembly has collapsed. Maybe a spring or a shock absorber has just gone bad.
Yeah, as he went down the Cooper straight, car Bordley, it looked like the front splitter was wobbling around and smacking the ground, so something has broken at the front of the car. That could be a secondary issue, the splitter, but the front left corner of that Honda is rather falling apart, so he's back into the pit lane. This battle continues to rage on though. There's Harry Bloor who did part season last year, did Harry, and started off racing with Power Max Racing. Of course, sadly lost his car in that awful fire that the team suffered halfway through the year. Came back and did the last couple of rounds though, and managed to get a best finish of 5th early in the season with PMR at Donington Park. He is one position away from matching that, but to get that position he's got to get through Jensen O'Neill going, which is not going to be the work of a moment. It rather has the feel, this battle, as we tick into the second half of the race now, of a little bit of a stalemate. Constable, I don't think, is as quick as McGovern, but McGovern isn't necessarily quick enough in the right parts of the track to try and make a move. Tries to go around the outside of Druids. That's ambitious. I thought for a moment he'd got the overlap on the exit, but no, Constable has that one covered. And then as they drop down into Graham Hill Bend, it's McGovern who misses the apex, and he has to switch from attack to defence.
Jack Constable has that veteran guile about him. He can just position that Audi where he needs to, because you only need to be, you know, there's only a few opportunities to get alongside. If you could just position your car in front of your rival at key points around the circuit, it doesn't matter how fast McGovern is, he ain't coming through. As Max Hart gets further and further and further away. Here comes McGovern to the inside. Hang on a minute! McGovern trying to send one. Constable opens the door. This is going to be quite tight. And McGovern's going to have to try to do it around the outside of Graham Hill. This is going to invite Hutchison into play as well. Constable holds on.
Oh, and that stacks them all up. Jensen O'Neill going things high. This could be my opportunity as they turn into 30. Someone's going to have a go into Clearway, surely. Who will it be? Will it be McGovern? Yes, it is. Goes to the inside of Constable, who closes the door just about on the Cupra driver, but there's just a little hint of frustration creeping in now for Ron McGovern. He knows he's quick. He knows he's got the pace to finish at least second in this race, but he just can't break through the defences of Jack Constable's Audi in front. They remain line astern as they head through Paddock Hill Bend. Constable climbs the inside curve, but this is a proper pressure cooker race, isn't it? You can feel that any moment now the lid could blow right off. Here comes Hutchison to the outside, and McGovern shoves Constable through Druid's corner. The Audi sideways, but still will not be moved.
Yeah, the Audi almost got a little bit too sideways coming through Paddock Hill Bend the last time. Jack Constable was very lucky not to get it into the gravel. The car just washing out mid-corner. It seems as though when Jack tries to turn in, the side just gets a bit lazy. There goes O'Neill going, and that's of course what Jack Constable is hoping is going to happen. I hold everybody up. They all start squabbling as they're tripping over one another, like O'Neill going and Hutchison are. I will try and make my escape. Good move. Good move.
Proper touring car move that from Jensen O'Neill going, wasn't it? Levered Hutchison aside at Clearways. Brad didn't like that and is trying to come back in a bit to Druids, but not quite late enough on the brakes. And so Jensen O'Neill going moves up into 4th position. Can he now get on the podium? This is really building up nicely because Constable and McGovern are going nowhere until McGovern can get through. Those two cars are not going to get any further away, and I'm pretty sure Jensen will be with them again by perhaps the end of the lap because he's able to carry so much more speed through Surtees into Clearways. McGovern runs wide. That's good news for Jensen O'Neill going, who's chasing behind him, and they're all going to gang up on each other. Hutchison's wide into the dirt. Through comes Harry Blur, who is now back into the top 5, and that was Hutchison maybe a bit rattled after what happened a lap ago at Clearways, pushing a bit too hard and making a mistake.
And I think that will release O'Neill going to have a real concerted effort now at Rod McGovern and maybe even Jack Constable. Further back, looking at the number 77, Mark Smith. And a newcomer to the championship behind him, that would be the number 5 car, Barry John McHenry in his Audi RM3 with the Vanin Motorsport. And this is for 9th and 10th position overall. They're just in front of the lone Gen 1 car of Luke Allen. Jeff Alden is still out there behind them, but good to see Mark Smith still in the championship. Good to see him with a new gunmetal grey. Well, it worked very well for David Marshall in the Civic Cup, so why not for Mark Smith as well? 5 minutes to go, plus a little bit of change.
Yes, we're in toward the final quarter of the race now, and still Max Hart leads the way. Max Hart, who the last time he won a TCR UK race was in 2022 towards the start of the season at Donington Park. Is he slowing?
Yeah, why was Max Hart slowing down just a little bit there? Let's have a look. The gap was 4.2 seconds. It's absolutely not 4.2 seconds now. There goes Max Hart. The gap is down. Oh, and Hutchinson is having a problem. Hutchinson, maybe he's run out of left rear tyre because he was, possibly. Yes, from 4.2 seconds to 1.7 seconds. What has happened to the race leader? They're coming up on the slower car of Jeff Alden as well. So traffic is going to play a factor. It's almost as though Jack Constable has seen this and woken up a little bit because he's pulling away now from Ron McGovern. O'Neill going and Blore are next. Rick Kerry running in 6th position. Russell Joyce is 7th. Now, was that a one-time mistake? Was there something off camera that we didn't see that cost Max Hart those 3 seconds? Let's see the gap now.
There are still issues, aren't there? That time wasn't great. It was a 49.0, although actually it was still a 10th quicker than the leader, than the second place car, sorry. So, I don't know, maybe he's managing an issue, but remember they had to change quite a bit on that car after the turbo issue in qualifying this morning. Maybe he's just sensing a return of that problem, just trying to manage the car to the end. He's 3 minutes 45 seconds away from maybe claiming the victory, but it's not going to be smooth sailing. There is Max Hart. I was trying to listen to the car as it came through. It sounded okay, although we can't really hear it that well through the commentary box windows. No, he's slowing. He's pitting. Max Hart is pitting. The race leader is in, and Max Hart potentially is about to add his name to the retirements list. Jack Constable leads the race, and Ron McGovern suddenly has an extra incentive to try and get through, because this could be a first ever win in TCR UK if he can make the move stick. What drama at Brands Hatch, and Ron McGovern is all over Jack Constable as they turn through Druids Corner for the 21st time. We're about 3 laps away from, maybe 4 laps away from checkered flag, and we have got a proper battle on our hands for the race victory.
Just as Max Hart came around clearways here, the camera was showing the rear of his car, and it looked like it juddered a little bit before he brought it into pit lane. And that's the most technical term I can use. It looked like it just, this exact camera angle there, it juddered. And so I don't know what that means, but it obviously means that something isn't working correctly, and into the pits he came very quickly. He didn't give it another half a lap to see what would happen, and this has lit a fire underneath Ron McGovern. He has made one. But since they're out goes Max Hart. Potentially, I mean, could it be something as a wheel weight coming loose, or he thought he had a vibration or a puncture of something like that? Who knows? Well, all we do know is that it's game on with 2 minutes to go. Here are your top 4, and of your top 4, 3 of them have never been on the podium before.
This is remarkable. Jack Constable started this race 11th on the grid. He leads with less than 2 minutes to go. Ron McGovern started 7th, so one of these two most likely to win, and they are certainly not 2 drivers we predicted before the race started. That is where McGovern's seen strong. At the end of the main straight into Paddock Hill Bend. He wasn't quite close enough that time, but lap after lap he gets himself onto the rear bumper of Constable's Audi towards Druids, and he keeps trying this outside line. Can he go right round the outside? He's trying. Constable ushers him over to the edge of the road, but you feel that McGovern's got to have a go for this, because he's clearly quick enough to have a pop at Constable. He's going to have 2 laps left after this one. If he can make the move, when and where does he make the move? He switches the headlights on as they head into Surtees. That's worth an extra 30 or 40 brake horsepower, psychologically, if nothing else. And he tees himself up now for a good exit out of clearways. He's closer than he's been for some time. He's in the slipstream of the Audi. We know McGovern is good on the brakes at Paddock Hill Bend. Is this where he attempts to make the move for the lead? Up towards the first corner they go. And no, Constable has it covered for now.
McGovern's best chance, from my perspective, is coming up into Druids hairpin. He gets a great run. Constable's going to have to be very, very, very wily and crafty with his defence. Here comes O'Neill going. McGovern's trying to go around the outside. That would have been a move and a half if he had pulled that one off. But again, this is, and I can't believe I've known Jack Constable since he was about 10 years old, and I'm talking about him. He's a wily, crafty veteran. It makes me feel old, but we are looking at the style of a driver that knows exactly where to position their car against much quicker machinery.
If McGovern can get in that position again on the final lap, I think he'll stay there. I think he'll just keep his car on the outside, but he's dropped back as a result of that little rub. And the gap grows again at the beginning of the final lap. So Jack Constable then a lap away from claiming his 7th career TCR UK victory. Rod McGovern on for a career best finish already, as is Jensen O'Neill going, as is Harry Bloor behind. What an absolutely unpredictable first race of the season this has been, and still we don't know the outcome, because McGovern over the first few corners of this lap has closed back in slightly on the Audi driver ahead. Harry Bloor perhaps still has ideas of going for a podium finish as well. Into the last couple of corners we go. Is Constable far enough ahead? I think he probably is, and he has weathered the storm magnificently. What a superb defensive drive this has been for Jack Constable, who on his return to the championship after a couple of seasons away is going to stand atop the podium once more. Jack Constable wins at Brands Hatch. Rod McGovern and Jensen O'Neill going join him on the podium. Who would have predicted that at the start of the weekend, with Harry Bloor in 4th. Rick Kerry is going to finish 5th in that one. It was a race of attrition admittedly, but he'll be delighted. He actually went off on the first lap of the race through Surtees. I spotted out the window, avoided the barrier just about, and managed to get the Hyundai home in 5th. Russell Joyce should be next in his Audi in 6th, and then here Barry John McHenry, who I think has managed to get himself ahead of Mark Smith. Yes, he has. The Audi ahead of the Cupra now. This is 7th position that they're battling for, with the Audi coming out there. In fact, Smith slowed on the run out of the final corner and came home 9th. So through goes Luke Allen to 8th in the Gen 1 Golf, Smith 9th and Jeff Olden 10th, and that will be, in theory, a Jeff Olden and Mark Smith front row now for race 2 coming up tomorrow morning. I mean, that is a fight you'd buy a ticket for, isn't it? Jack Constable, though, speaking of a fight, what a fight that was to defend race long from a fired up and racy Rod McGovern, who comes home in 2nd. Jensen O'Neill going 3rd, with Harry Bloor and Rick Kerry completing the top 5. Russell Joyce 6th ahead of Barry John McHenry, and Luke Allen in the Gen 1 Golf in 8th. 9th was Mark Smith, 10th for Jeff Olden, with Max Hart not running the flag but classified 11th. It really was a race of attrition in the end, with 7 cars failing to reach the finish. Hart, Hutchison, Boardley, Newsham, Kent, Hall and Mason, all non-finishers, and I think at least 6 of those 7 drivers were potential race winners, and they unfortunately were not able to get to the flag. Thankfully, Jack Constable was. He's made it all the way round to the Parc Fermé area, and our race winner catches up now with Ian.